Welcome to episode 2 of my Pokemon Red Randomized Nuzlocke. Last time we left off at Mount Moon with our failed encounter against Pheromosa. So this episode we're going to be finishing Mount Moon and going to Cerulean City. So let's get started. Nothing really interesting happened besides the required battle with Archer at the end of Mount Moon, but other than that, it was pretty easy overall. After I got out of Mount Moon, I decided to do a max raid right next to Cerulean City. And it turned out to be a Klefki. Not really interesting, but it's not an encounter because max raids don't count. But this Klefki was very, very, very annoying to face against. Since Klefki's typing is already pretty defensive, even while Dynamax and using Max Knuckle to boost attack every turn, it still wouldn't take that much damage. It also has Quiver Dance and Bulk Up, which allows it to set up every other turn for every single stat. And this is I can't even begin to process how annoying this max raid was. Eventually, we ran out of turns to defeat the Klefki while on very low HP it was. But thankfully I still got some loot out of it. And I actually got heal balls, which is pretty good for catching injured Pokemon. In Route 4, I generated an 11 and a 2 Greninja during nighttime. This Greninja was so good that it was incredibly lucky that I even generated this in the first place. It was one of the best starters ever, because it's very fast, it's very strong, it's fully evolved. This was the best encounter, one of the best encounters that I've ever generated. But I also ran out of Pokeballs from that Pheromosa, so I just immediately went to Cerulean City and bought more before I tried to encounter it. I caught it and I also named it Jigglypuff. And this Greninja was so good when I looked at its summary. Its ability is Speed Boost. It had Waterfall, Poison Jab, Tailwind, and Disable. Those are some pretty good moves early on. Like the two attacking moves, they are really good and they actually sound like what a Greninja could learn if it wasn't randomized. But it's still very good. It's so powerful with Speed Boost, and it was able to learn Power Up Punch, which I got earlier for the TM. So if I use Power Up Punch every turn and Speed Boost activates, it effectively makes it like a damaging Dragon Dance, which is insanely overpowered. Eventually, it wanted to learn Thunder, which is insane this early on because the next gym is Water type, and I would expect it to have a rain team set up, and Thunder is 100% accurate in the rain. So if I teach it to this Greninja, it could easily sweep Misty's whole team, assuming that none of her Pokemon are ground type. But that was very good for this Greninja to learn. And also used it to grind other Greninja in the grass to get some very, very easy XP. I just click Power Up Punch, I click Thunder, and just obliterated 20 something Greninjas just to grind up this one while holding a Lucky Egg. And I got thousands and thousands of XP, and it eventually reached the level cap in very, very short amount of time. I decided to take on the bridge that was north of Cerulean City, and trainer number 3 almost killed Greninja. I was not about to lose Greninja this early. That was heart-stopping. So I just immediately switched it out into Piplup, which also obliterated every single trainer on that bridge. On Route 24, my encounter was Volcanion. I've encountered so many legendaries, and I bet you can figure out what happened with this encounter. Yep, I killed it. That was depressing. Around 25, my encounter was Primplup. It was like kind of like meh, because I already have several water types on my team. But this Primplup, this is a very weird Primplup right there. Like, look at this Primplup right here. It's level 27. And literally, like, every other Pokemon before it was like level 14 or 15. I don't know what was up with that Primplup, but it's not Dupe's Claws because my Metagross is not a Piplup, even though I named it Piplup. It's not Dupe's Claws. But this Primplup, I actually did end up catching it, but this is the weirdest Primplup that I've ever seen. Especially when I encountered a Zubat that was level 17. That Piplup was on steroids or something in the wild, man. But now let's take on Misty. Misty was a little harder than Brock, but her team doesn't even have like a range setter set up. So I couldn't land 100% accurate Thunders. But like halfway through the battle, I just switched into Slacking and it just sweeped like most of her team. On Route 5, I encountered a Gulpin. So I killed it. I decided to fight Commander Kamado from Legends Arceus with his Hisuian Pokemon, which has no significant impact on the Nuzlocke whatsoever because it's not my Pokemon. But it was pretty easy, like Sneasler and Samurai just sweep through his entire team. He gifted me an Eevee for beating him, but it turned out to be a Frostmoth that was really underwhelming. But it had Quiver Dance, so at least it was somewhat like a Frostmoth. I did this off camera, but I received the fishing rod in Viridian City that I forgot to get. So I pulled up another, this was the third random number generator between 1 and 2. 1 was encounters on the land, and 2 was encounters in the water. And I got an encounter in the water in Route 6. But since I have the old rod, my options were very limited. So it was only Pikipek or Snom. So it was very underwhelming. So I just got a Pikipek and killed it. I reached Vermilion City and my encounter was a Venusaur in the water. Since I had the old rod, it was meant to be like Magikarp or something, so it's set to level 4 only. So I thought, no, that would be too much to grind, so I just killed it instead. In Diglett's Cave, I found a Mime Jr., and I decided to catch it this time. And I'll give you a little bit of time to guess what I named this Mime Jr. It's Diglett. Of course it's Diglett. What do you think? I went to Diglett's Cave and would name my Pokemon not Diglett. Why would I name it not Diglett? It's Diglett. It's so easy. Come on, man. I reached the SSN and nothing particularly interesting happened besides this old man that wanted to battle me because I barged in his room. I thought it was very funny. Like, he's so mad that he just sent out a Tapu Bulu out of nowhere. And then right after that, he just sent out a Shogun. Very good defenses you have there. Very good defenses for anyone who tries to barge in your room. Like, seriously, man. However, this double battle was one of the worst double battles I ever had in a Nuzlocke. I hate double battles, first off, because it requires so much strategy with 4 Pokemon on the field. And I can't even process what just happened there. So basically my Greninja was just power up punching, you know, just boosting up all of that. And then I eventually killed the Cramorant, right? And then sent out Nidoqueen, so I thought, oh, I can just use Liquidation on it and one-shot it. Apparently, that Lileep right next to it has Storm Drain, which just immediately cancels out my Liquidation and raises its special attack. So then that creates an opening for the Nidoqueen to Scorching Sand my Greninja, and the Lileep to just Giga Drain it also. And ended up killing Greninja. I was so mad. I was so sad and mad at the same time because Greninja was a powerful asset to my team. Like, it helped deal with like half of Misty's team. It was pretty overpowered overall. And just watching it die like that, bro, I can't even right now, I can't. Eventually I beat that cursed duo and had to run back to the Pokemon Center to heal up my team. And then I went to the PC and made the RIP box. The Rest in Peace box. Rest in peace, Greninja. Let's take a moment of silence for the first fallen member of this run. Okay, I'm too sad. Moment of silence over. Eventually, I meet up with Brendan back on the SSN, and then I took out my anger by obliterating every single Pokemon on his entire team with just slacking. I just like power punch like once or twice, and then just obliterated everything. His Loudred, his Crawdon, his Grovyle, his whatever fourth Pokemon that I forgot. I just took out every single Pokemon with slacking because I'm still very salty that Greninja just died there. Then I made a dumb decision to face Whitney because I actually don't know why I decided to face her.
You stupid!
But I was horrified to face her. I'm sure you can figure out why that is horrifying to face Whitney if you ever played Heart Gold Soul Silver. But it's not as hard as I thought it would. Also, this is an example of the AI cheating because it literally switches. It didn't even know I had Sappy Seed on slacking. It just switches out to a Sap Sipping Pokemon. I'm telling you, the AI is literally cheating. But yeah, just it wasn't really that hard. I only needed to beat it with slacking only, like I did with Brendan. Even the Miltank was easy. Like, the Miltank is supposed to be the bulky attacker like slacking is, but with a couple power-up punches, I can deal massive amounts of damage with Sappy Seed, which also sets up Leech Seed so it drains its health so it can heal mine. Which is what happened to this Miltank right here, because it lived on 1 HP surprisingly. But yeah, basically all of Whitney's team was very easy to beat, surprisingly. Instead of facing the Vermilion Gym right away, I decided to go on Route 9. And this trainer was the most terrifying trainer that I have ever seen, besides the double battle ones. So, basically, she leads with Smeargle, right? The Pokemon that can learn like every move in existence. It was easy to beat with a couple power-up punches and stuff with slacking. But then the rest of her team, which is like, why do they have these? They have this move called Assist, which I don't know what Assist exactly does, but from what I can learn from this battle, they literally like take your Pokemon's moves into its moveset. So for example, this Spinda used Close Combat earlier with Assist, which I assume the Smeargle has because it can learn every single move. And this Sneasel also used Assist to use V-Create, which, how does it even learn V-Create? What? And then the Pokemon after it used Dragon Ascent. What is with this team? But easily, thankfully, I beat it. It was really, really hard, but I beat it. No deaths. Then I went to Rock Tunnel, which for some reason the Dex Nav didn't work. For some reason. I assume it has to do with the brightness in the cave, because I think it's because it's too dark so that the Dex Nav can't detect anything. I even left the Rock Tunnel and used it, and it worked perfectly. But when I re-entered, it didn't work. I assumed it was too dark, so I just decided to turn off the Dex Nav, turn off my infinite repel, and just wandered off and just doing normal Nuzlocke encounters, just normal encountering like everybody else does. And turns out the next encounter I got was Terrakion. I even turned off the Dex Nav for that one. I surprisingly caught it. I was very happy with that encounter. And I did some research, and turns out Pokemon Radical Red actually has a wild Terrakion in Rock Tunnel, so I named it Terrakion with an extra N. So I added Terrakion to the team. I eventually reached Lavender Town, which is a huge location to unlock this early. I'll reveal why in a sec. And then I reached Celadon City, which is another huge city to unlock this early. Because there's the department store, there's the tall building that has the woman that has the T for the guards, so that I will be able to unlock Saffron City. And there's 2 give Pokemon here. Well, actually there's multiple, but at this point early on in the game, there's only 2. There are way more later on. Around 16, my encounter was Scizor. Like, this dude only has 1 weakness, and that 1 weakness is 4 times, but it doesn't appear majorly until very late game, which is amazing to find here. I caught it and named it Vulpix, but that was a mistake. Vulpix only spawns on Route 7, and I thought I was on Route 7, but I was on Route 16. So, oh yeah, it's still named, it still works. Then I faced Lieutenant Surge, which actually was really hard. Like, even with my Metagross with Land's Wrath, it was still really difficult. Like, my god, it was so difficult that actually members of my team actually died. Just kidding about the net part. You thought. But it was still very difficult though. Had to involve a lot of switching. Like a whole lot of switching. My team was crippled after that fight. After that fight, my team needed a whole level up. So this man in Lavender Town, I said Lavender Town was going to be important earlier, so this man literally charges 10,000 Pokédollars to let you kill 6 Audinos to give out tons and tons of XP. And some of my Pokemon were holding Lucky Eggs, which gave them even more and more XP. Like, this is literally the ultimate way to grind for XP in this game. Okay, so you want to know something crazy? I did a max raid den right outside of Celadon City, and it turned out to be a Macho Pikachu. Of course, my encounter wasn't that, but the amount of XP it gives over 10,000 XP. And so we tried to do another max raid right after it, and it gave out even less than the Pikachu, and it was a legendary there. Like, what? What is that XP mechanic, man? And then I faced on Bugsy, which was supposed to be faced before Misty, but I forgot about him. So now we're facing him right now. It turns out his levels were scaled to match the level cap. And it was harder than the Lieutenant Surge fight, let me tell you. He took out my Mismagius and my Vaporeon. He took out 2 of my Pokemon. He took out 2. Bro, what was that? I immediately took revenge with my Slacking, which was very hurt. I was so scared of losing him, but thankfully he clutched up. But he killed 2 of my Pokemon still. Like, what was that for, man? Rest in peace, Mismagius and Vaporeon. You will be missed. I am not fully ready to take on Erica yet, so I think I'll end this video right here. If you like this, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.